All right, well, this is your second year here at JMU, so maybe just give us some thoughts on your first year and also about the listening tour.
Sure. Well, it was a wonderful first year here at the university. As you know, it was a goal of mine the first year to have the listening tour to ask the question, why Madison? I wanted to learn from our community, both on campus and off campus, what makes this a special place to learn, to live, and to work. And so I wanted to hear from as many different constituencies as possible: faculty, staff, students, alumni, community members, members of the state and federal legislatures, about what they felt about the university and its future as we go forward. And it was a wonderful set of conversations. I learned a lot from it, and a lot of it reinforced a sense that I already had, that this was a university that was on the move, that has become more nationally and internationally recognized, and that provides an interesting hybrid, if you will, in terms of the kind of education that we provide. That we're not a small liberal arts college on the one hand, but we have a lot of those elements with great faculty-student interaction, things like a lot of opportunities for students to interact with faculty both during the school year and over the summer, but also elements that you see at a large research-intensive university, even though that's not what we are either. So we have opportunities for undergraduate research, for undergraduates to publish papers and go to scholarly conferences with faculty members. A lot of other universities, you could only do that if you were a graduate student. So JMU combines some of the best elements of other types of institutions, and that was exciting to see. Another theme that we talked about quite a bit was the idea of engaged learning, and as you know, that's part of the vision that we've talked about for the future, is being engaged with ideas in the classroom, but also engaged with the world outside the classroom. So it's sort of the opposite of the isolated ivory tower. The idea that we want our students to learn deeply in different fields of study, but then to apply that knowledge to the real world problems and challenges all around us, whether it's locally, around the state, around the country, or around the world. So we've been thinking a lot about what engaged learning means. Things like providing internships and intergenerational connections to learn with and from alumni, teamwork and leadership skills, communication and critical thinking skills, providing international experiences and what we call domestic study abroad experiences for our students, so that they have that opportunity to apply their learning in the classroom to problems and challenges around them. And that's going to be one of the key themes that we talk about going forward.
You mentioned earlier that one of the most best parts of the listening tour was kind of hearing from current students. What kind of things were you hearing out there about that current students were worried about or excited about, or things on their minds?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, the overwhelming majority of our students and our alumni report that they have a great experience at James Madison University, that this is a place that changes lives. So that has certainly been a very positive part of the listening tour, that people have felt that they've been well prepared for the rest of their lives, not just for that first job out of college, but for lifelong learning. Current students have talked a lot about the fact that they've gotten to know faculty members, that's an important part of their experience, that they also value the kind of community that we have at James Madison University, that we open doors for each other, both literally and figuratively, in the sense that we're opening doors for the future for all of our students. But the sense that this is a place where you really feel valued and respected as an individual, that people feel known, even as the university has grown to about 20,000 students now, that students genuinely feel part of a community. And that extends, I would say, also to the importance of working within the university and with the community around us, that students here are very actively engaged. I have been so impressed with the community service, the civic engagement of our students and faculty and staff. People are involved, whether it's the big event or service projects or alternative spring breaks, around the community and around the country and around the world, in trying to make a difference in the world. And that's something I really admire about our students. And I think it's very much a part of the ethic, the values here at James Madison University.
Yeah. You talk a little bit about how much of a priority it was to get faculty and staff salary increases for you for your first year?
Yes, it was certainly a very high priority for me in the first year to recognize that our people are our most important resource. When it came to salary increases, there had not been across-the-board increases since 2007, for our faculty and staff. So we knew it was long overdue, and therefore was a really high priority for me personally my first year. And so we worked hard, both at the state level in Richmond, working with legislators to talk about the importance of supporting salary increases, but also within our own budgeting process to make that a high priority. I appointed a compensation task force, which looked both at faculty issues as well as staff issues when it came to compensation, not just at salaries, but at overall compensation. And we got a lot of good ideas out of that for the short, medium, and long term that we'll continue to look at. But it absolutely was a high priority for me personally, and I feel very good about the progress that we made this first year. There's much more work to be done on that front, but we took some very significant and positive steps this year.